insured by NCUA.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was the song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk. Breaking news, weather, entertainment, and sports. We have it all here. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and we're coming live to you from the American Family Insurance Studio here at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. You can always call and text in and share your thoughts and comments on the conversation. And always remember, you can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Also, give us a subscribe. Also, I see somebody's already in the YouTube chat asking questions and talking. I think it might be, maybe it's a continuation from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Just so y'all know, I will not be here tomorrow because I will be on my way to Vegas. Viva Las Vegas for a bachelor party. No, I'm not going to Vegas for the gentlemen's clubs. I'm going to Vegas to have a good time, a good wholesome time.
You're going to go eat at a strip club.
I will be eating at a gentleman's club. Yes. And I listen, if the strippers come towards me, I'm going to tell them, ma'am, if you don't get them glittery booty cheeks away from my steak, the only thing I'm eating is steak. Steak from a cow. Butt meat from a cow, not from a woman.
Ain't get no yams?
No, ain't eating no yams. Only yams I eat are at my house. Oh, wait a minute now. I got family who listen to this show. I'm just joking. I'm just talking crazy. Don't listen to what I said. Turn it off. Turn it off. Dump this. But shout out to Rhea Riley holding it down for us as the producer. And also, so I want to just start off with this. All right. So, you know, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. Now, I'm be on social media, right? And I've told y'all I have trended on social media multiple times. That's not a flex or anything. It's just, you know, I happen to say things sometimes on the political side of things and sometimes on the sports side of things that get people a little riled up. So I have been in a moment where I've had a lot of people commenting on Twitter. I've been trending on Twitter and people going at me for my thoughts and beliefs on the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, hey, it's part of the world. It's part of the world. Matter of fact, Giannis heard one of the things that I said about him last year, saying he needs to increase his leadership. And his brother let me know that his brother heard and he wasn't too happy about it. So, you know, I even made Giannis mad. So, you know, I'm cool with the hate. I'm okay with all that. It's part of the role. It's part of my job. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing for nobody. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to speak how I feel. Now, with that being said, there was a couple days ago. Here it is. A couple days ago, there's a gentleman named Dr. Ken Harris on Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. Now, Dr. Ken is my guy. I love Dr. Ken. I love Dr. Ken. And y'all have seen the news about Giannis trade, right? Happy birthday to Dr. Ken, by the way. You've seen all the news about Giannis potentially leaving Milwaukee and the news about the trade and is he going to stay? Is he going to go? He's unhappy and blah, 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 blah. We've all seen that. And matter of fact, one of the hosts that I love in Dr. Ken, he was on radio. He's trending on social media right now. If you go to Twitter X, some people in Milwaukee mad at Dr. Ken. But he took this little figure right here and he was talking to Giannis. Giannis, don't let Milwaukee keep you down. That's what he said. Did he not? That's what he said. Don't make this bigger than Milwaukee. You can fly high. He was talking to the toy. Oh, well, don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you at all. But with this, he was talking to Giannis. So what I'm finna do is I'm finna talk to Giannis and keep it real with Giannis because Dr. Ken, Giannis, I don't want you to listen to Dr. Ken. No. I don't want you to listen to Dr. Ken because Dr. Ken is smart. Dr. Ken has given a lot to this community. When I say a lot to this community, Dr. Ken, since he moved to the city of Milwaukee, not only served and protected the community, but also did a lot of community service and gave back to the community and still to this day continues to give back to the community in ways that you all do not even know and understand. Dr. Ken has made a phenomenal impact. And then on top of that, what I love about Dr. Ken is his political views. It is what it is. Like, you know, he is what it is, right? He's a straight shooter on how he feels about things and responsibility. You have a responsibility as an individual to control and dictate your own future and your own destiny. I agree with some of the things that he says. Now, overall with that, though, is one thing I will always say is that Dr. Ken Harris, out of anybody that I have ever worked with, when he works with somebody and you are part of his team, you are part of his team and he fights for you. And when I say that is there's multiple people who have worked here at this station who Dr. Ken has helped in some type of way. If you got a business or something on the side, he got some money to give to you through whatever he got going on, he gonna hook you up. Multiple people have been hooked up and hit in their pockets with Dr. Ken assisting and helping. Dr. Ken helped bring business to 1017 The Truth. So I'm going to tell you this right now. I stand behind Dr. Ken because Dr. Ken is a staple in our community. And what I love about it is a lot of people talk about giving back. Not only does he give back with his time, he gives back with his treasure. When I say treasure, I'm talking about his money. Period. And he helps people find jobs too. Yeah. So with that being said, so with that being said, I am going to let everybody know that Dr. Ken was wrong. He was absolutely wrong. He was wrong in his assertion that he believes Giannis should leave Milwaukee. And I'm going to tell everybody why Giannis is not leaving Milwaukee. All right? So this is where we're going to start here. We're going to start talking about the fact that, yes, is Giannis potentially having conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks about potentially looking at his future? Of course he is. If you lost 3 consecutive years in the first round, or you at your job, every year your job, you are trying to meet some type of budget goal or some type of outreach goal, and you continue to fail at that goal, then you need to reevaluate the people that are around you. Are they putting you in the best position to get that bonus? Are they putting you in that best position to get that promotion? Are they putting you in the best position to win? So that's when I look at Giannis and I look at the Bucks. Obviously, they're going to have a conversation. They had, I believe, yesterday, a conversation talking about his future with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, this is what I want y'all to understand for all you Bucks fans. I know I really don't go the sports route here on Truth to Power because I do that 2 to 5 on Kyle Brust and Norman on ESPN Wisconsin. I do that all the time. So I try to stay away from the sports, but your boy can get in the sports bag. So for all y'all who are panicked and nervous about Giannis leaving, I'm telling y'all this right now. You should feel good after what we saw last night. If you did not watch the Pacers versus the New York Knicks game last night, you missed a hell of a basketball game. Make sure you go on social media and watch the ending because the Pacers were down by 14 points with less than 3 minutes left in that game. And guess what? They forced overtime, and they won that basketball game. Have we seen that before? Absolutely, because they did it to the Bucks multiple times during this playoff stretch where we weren't able to hold leads. Matter of fact, they even did it to us last year. So why I say what happened yesterday with the Pacers coming back and beating the Knicks should have everybody in the city of Milwaukee, the city that I love, the city that I know Giannis loves, the city that Giannis has made his home for the last 13 seasons, if my math is correct, 12 or 13 seasons, is because of the fact that the Pacers are showing everybody they are a good basketball team. The Milwaukee Bucks, without Damian Lillard, a healthy Damian Lillard, were able to push the Pacers to the brink. It's just Tyrese Halliburton, what the Hallie, who is from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, is playing at an extremely high level. The team around him, the players around him, are playing at an extremely high level. What we are seeing, Truth Nation, is the difference between trying to build a team around two superstars, one in Dame who's injured and aging, versus actually building a team. So I tell you all this. If you think Giannis is leaving the Bucks, you should think twice, because when they had that meeting yesterday, I can promise you this, is that the Milwaukee Bucks told Giannis, you are our star, and we are going to build around you. I know we lost in the first round to the Pacers back-to-back years, but listen, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals back-to-back years. And then all of a sudden they can text Giannis last night and say, see, did you see did you see the fact that the Pacers were up down 14 points with less than 3 minutes left? You see they came back. Did you see Tyrese Halliburton grab that, take the ball up court, dribble almost behind the three-point line, and hit that incredible shot that bounced up and then went in, and then they won in overtime? Did you see that, Giannis? That's just a really good basketball team. We want to build a team around you like the Pacers built a team around Tyrese Halliburton. So, yes, Damian Lillard, he's going to be on the roster next year, but he's not part of the future. He's going to be getting his Achilles right, and once he gets healthy, next summer in 2026, we're going to ship him off somewhere else. Giannis, the next 3 years are going to be focused around you, Yanni, around you, building the team around you. So I just want all y'all to know, for all you Bucks fans and everybody mad about people having opinions, something that we all have, and thoughts that we all have, shut up, sit down, calm down, it's okay. The city of Milwaukee is great, everybody knows that. But the city of Milwaukee is greater when you have a once-in-a-generational talent like Giannis Antetokounmpo. The city of Milwaukee was able to build the Pfizer Forum because very rich people understood how talented Giannis is. The city of Milwaukee was able to build the Deer District up and then have investments around downtown to get the Democratic National Convention, to get the Republican National Convention, to be able to build up the Bear Center, to be able to get hotels in downtown Milwaukee in the Deer District, to be able to get music facilities that are being built in the downtown Deer District. It's because of one man in Giannis. So, no, Giannis is not bigger than the city of Milwaukee, but Giannis has made the city of Milwaukee bigger. We cannot debate that. That is an absolute fact. That's something that is so beautiful about sports, so beautiful about somebody being so talented. The fact that sports can bring people together and bring so much happiness. We all remember the Deer District in 2021, how many thousands, 100,000 people were out there in the Deer District. Not because they love the city of Milwaukee, it's because they love being able to celebrate the Milwaukee Bucks. They had something in common. So all I'm saying to everybody who's nervous about Giannis leaving the Milwaukee Bucks or mad at Dr. Ken, everybody calm down. It's going to be okay. Giannis is going to stay in Milwaukee, and we're all going to be happy. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. You can always call if you have any thoughts or comments on the conversation. In addition to that as well, always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But Tyrone, what's crack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack? What are your thoughts here on
Giannis?
Giannis?
Crack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack. What's up, Kyle? What's up, Rhea?
What's up,
Good
what's up?
afternoon. All right, Milwaukee. Yes, indeed. Tyrone W. speaking. Well, enjoy your trip out to Vegas and all, the Memorial Day weekend, Monday and all.
Seeing Walker
Flame. Yep. My Bucks there, Rhea, Dr. Ken, bless and joyous birthday celebration. So yeah, very quickly, I'd love to see him stay. You're absolutely right. Everything you're saying is absolutely right, and I want us to do better with our G League. The G League players need to see what we're trying to do and position themselves to get ready to come up, just like our minor league, team for the Brewers there, the minors there. Get yourself ready to come up to the big stage there in the G League, so you can be ready when you get here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
now,
sir.
For the people that need to get shifted around there, I guess, Brooke, I love you, but man, we got to get some
Brooke,
of these some of these East Coast like Egerfor or Kaufbrenner or Broom or somebody got to come in with some young legs, man. So, but that's what you got to do. You got it's a young man's game. And you got to stay young. The knowledge and everything is helpful, but it's a young man's game, and you got to stay with that.
I'm with you, Tyrone. Thank you so much.
Yep. But enjoy yourself. I'll talk with you when you get back.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk with you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Shout out to Tyrone. Was crack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack-a-lack-it. On the other side, though, Truth Nation, I won't continue to talk about Giannis. I just wanted to set the record straight that Giannis is going to be staying in Milwaukee, and I wanted to have a conversation with him. Post that on Twitter, Rhea. No, I'm just kidding. Don't post that on Twitter. Because then people going to be mad, oh, you're stupid for thinking he's going to stay. You Milwaukee people. I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to enjoy my weekend. But on the other side, Truth Nation, had a little fun here. But now we got to get down to real business, because yesterday I saw something that popped up that was bad for criminal justice. It was a bad day for reform. It was a bad day for America and our progress, and I'll tell you exactly why it was a bad day for criminal justice reform in America and how we are going backwards. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And Truth Nation, you can now watch my show live on YouTube every day from 9 a.m. until noon. Yep, you can get 3 full hours of watching Sherwin doing his thing streaming live on YouTube Monday through Friday. You'll get the same insightful conversations about policy, politics, and lifestyle, while also seeing my reaction to the unpredictability of our listeners. So go to YouTube right now, subscribe to 1017 The Truth, and see this wonderful smile live every day.
Experience some of the most cherished popular music of all time when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound, May 23rd through the 25th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Byron Stripling will lead the MSO, and an exciting trio of vocalists that include Broadway superstar Chester Gregory, Ashley J., and Brick Liam in a musical sojourn of hits made famous by legendary talents such as Lou Rawls, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, and The Temptations. Songs like My Girl, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and I'm Coming Out will come alive in fun and stylish arrangements that are sure to have you dancing and humming along in your seat. Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound runs May 23rd through the 25th only. So lock up your tickets right now by calling the box office at 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org.
Need to look sharp for graduation? You need
the $100 hookup.
Want to get decked out for prom? Get the
$100 hookup.
An incredible deal that includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Avani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Avani's. Get hooked up today at Nick Avani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickavanis.com.
Ready to buy your first house? Move into your forever home or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Working me. She working me. Urging me.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace. You can always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up and also give us a subscription. In addition to that, if you have any thoughts on the conversation, remember, 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk in text line. Now, yesterday I said was a bad day for criminal justice on the other side, right? It was a bad day for criminal justice reform. It was a bad day for police accountability. Now, let's go a little bit backwards to 2 days ago where I discussed Ashley Babbitt, right? Ashley Babbitt is the white woman who was a January 6th rioter who broke the law by illegally entering the United States Capitol building and posed a threat to politicians and members of law enforcement. That day, we saw in America on January 6th. Now, despite those unlawful acts that we all witnessed, we all saw on camera, right? Despite those, her family was still paid $5 million from the Trump administration, right? Because they believed that she deserved some type of justice for getting shot by a Capitol police officer when she was clearly in the wrong. Like, that is the justice. That is the Trump administration Justice Department standing up for somebody they believe is a victim, right? They're standing up for her. They're giving the family $5 million. They're saying, we believe that she was done wrong, and we want to show that we care, and here is money. That was a choice that they made because the Biden administration said they weren't finna give him a dime, right? That is a choice you made. When you support something, you believe in something, you stand behind it. You fund it. You publicly talk about how you are with it, right? You support it. Now, she got $5 million. Meanwhile, the police officers that day suffered that day, right? Many police officers, some lost their lives that day or also had to deal with trauma from the fallout from that day and received absolutely nothing. But again, I guess blue lives only matter when it comes with a caveat of support of Donald Trump. Now, yesterday, I saw the breaking news, and some of you may have seen this breaking news as well, that truly disappointed me, and it let me know that we are actually going backwards, unfortunately, as a society. Many steps backwards as a society. Now, after the police killings of George Floyd in Minneapolis and of the killing of Breonna Taylor in Louisville during the first Trump administration, I add you, that happened, President Joe Biden, former President Joe Biden, came into office, and his administration, his Department of Justice, decided they wanted to investigate both police departments of Minneapolis, where George Floyd was murdered, and the police department of Louisville, where Breonna Taylor was murdered. Now, they did this investigation, and they ended up finding that there was a pattern of excessive force and discriminatory practices that happened inside both of those police departments, right? And so what they found is that they came to an agreement that both of those police departments need to address these allegations of systemic unconstitutional policing and civil rights violations. The Department of Justice went in there, they did an investigation, they found a pattern that I'm sure here in Milwaukee there's a pattern as well of excessive force and discriminatory practices. Now, the justice reform we have been asking for many years continues to be blocked by Republicans in Congress. We talk about where's the George Floyd bill? Well, the George Floyd bill is blocked in Congress because Republicans don't believe that we need a bill to hold police accountable. That's just facts, right? The Biden administration found another way to hold police departments accountable by utilizing the Department of Justice. So if we can't get laws enacted, we're going to find other ways and other avenues to hold these police departments accountable. That's exactly what we're seeing, or what we saw in Louisville, is you saw a police department being held accountable for their actions. You saw a police department in Minneapolis being held accountable for their actions. So even if you cannot get justice reform via law, the Biden administration was working in the best interest of not just black Americans. Yes, we are going to be impacted by this. Just like we talk about DEI, how white women are more impacted by DEI, guess what? When you talk about justice reform, black people are more impacted by justice reform, because when you have justice reform, that means there's less black people having excessive force used on them, being over-policed. So the thing about all this is that people have died and lost their lives at the hands of the police, and the Biden administration finally decided to make a way to say, you know what, we're going to make an example out of these bad police departments and the bad culture that they have. So I applaud Joe Biden and his administration for looking for different avenues to try to get us justice. Now, within the first 4 months of the Trump presidency, he is telling Minneapolis police and he's telling Louisville police that don't worry about accountability anymore. You don't got to worry about that, because based off of yesterday of them pulling that dissent decree, based off of yesterday them stopping the investigations that were taking place in Minneapolis Police Department by the Department of Justice, in the Louisville Police Department and Department of Justice, but in addition to that, other places such as police departments in Phoenix, Arizona, Trenton, New Jersey, Memphis, Tennessee, where we all talked about how Tyree Nichols was killed by the police, they no longer are being investigated whatsoever. Mount Vernon, New York, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and the Louisiana State Police, a state, might I add, where inmates, right now on the run, but inmates who are forced to work on farms and pick vegetables by hand for only pennies, while guards watch them work in these fields while they are riding horses. Again, guards are watching many black men pick vegetables in the field for pennies like slave labor while they are watching from a horseback. And no, this is not from 1930s. This is not from the Life movie. This is from 2024 in the state of Louisiana. So now I talked and mentioned about these consent decrees and what they are, right? Consent decrees are meant to hold police departments accountable when they violate American civil rights. But the government has given the green light. The Trump administration, their Department of Justice, has given the green light and the go-ahead for the police departments to treat the community that they are supposed to protect and serve any way that they want. And we all know that inequalities in policing occur here in America. We know that. We've seen it. And many of us, unfortunately, through the black experience in America, unfortunately, many of us have experienced these inequalities in the policing that we see. But the Trump administration and his Justice Department is literally telling you right now that the experience that we have and what we see is not true, it's not real, it's not valid. They said the reforms that are seeking to protect Americans from excessive force and discriminatory practices is not in the public's best interests. Truth Nation, your safety and well-being is not in the public's best interest, according to the Trump administration. So, to me, this is a complete slap in the face. And specifically to black Americans who suffer from police brutality at a disproportionate rate. We have been crying for change for decades, centuries. We have organized and fought against things like this. People have advocated for things like this. They have advocated and fought for police reform and more criminal justice reform, all for naught. And what makes this even more terrible is the fact that this is happening during the week of the 5-year anniversary of the murder of George Floyd that I talked about, I believe earlier this week or last week, that we all witnessed as Americans. 833-212-1017. I want to know your thoughts and comments on the fact that the Trump administration, his Department of Justice, is no longer investigating the Minneapolis Police Department, the Louisville Police Department, the two police departments that had a major role in the uprising against police brutality in America with the death of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, who was sleeping, and the police came to the wrong house, shooting inside somebody's house, so her boyfriend got up and tried to defend the house, and she lost her life, and she got nothing. Well, her family did get paid, but she got no real justice. And George Floyd, who was murdered by the Minneapolis police. And the bottom line about all this, though, Truth Nation, is this. History of policing has a very, very racist foundation. Slave patrols and the slave codes that were enforced long ago ended after the Civil War, but the passage of the 13th Amendment, which formally ended slavery, except as a punishment for crime. So you could become a slave for a punishment of crime. And what we have to understand is we as black people, we make up 13% of the American population, but we make up 25% of the people shot by the police. We make up 37% of the prison population. Black men are 5 times more likely to be stopped without just cause by the police. Black men are almost 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than white men, and we receive 3.4% longer sentences than our white counterparts for similar or same crimes. And actually, I think it's not 3, it's 13.4. 13.4% for the similar or same crime. If you look at these numbers and you experience the experience of being a black American, you cannot stand anywhere or speak with any conviction and believe that we do not need some type of police reform in this country. So seeing that we are going backwards with this Trump administration is very disappointing. It's very disheartening. The Trump administration is telling you what you see, what you experience is not valid. It is not real. Their exact words, Truth Nation, is the reason why they are no longer investigating multiple police departments for excessive use of force or discriminatory practices is because it is not in the best interest of the public. Truth Nation, Americans' rights are being violated. Their civil rights are being violated, and the government is turning their backs to our plight. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk to text line. You can call in, you can text in. I want to hear from you. I see the phone lines. We're going to get to on the other side, but I just had to let y'all know and understand what is currently happening within the first 4 months of this administration. It's the fact that last week, you heard about the fact that they're more than likely Derek Chauvin's going to get a pardon from federal prison. He'll have to go to Minneapolis, but his federal crime will be pardoned. And now we're seeing that the Trump Department of Justice is trying to tell you that police don't use excessive force. There's no discriminatory practices in policing. That, just because 13.4% of black people get longer sentences than white people for similar same crimes, there's no problem there. We ain't got to fix that. Oh, it's okay, the fact that, y'all end up getting over-policed. That's okay. That's not real. 833-212-1017. We'll take your calls after this. Remember, you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But on the other side, we'll take your calls, we'll take your texts. But this is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavanis.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 101.7 The Truth.
I want you to really stress the importance of having an ethnically diverse blood supply. But I guess, what do you say to people that, for whatever reason, are apprehensive about giving blood?
It's not by accident that we are building this fixed donation site right in the heart of this Halyard Park, Harambe neighborhood. And to your point, our black and brown donors probably represents the smallest demographic in our donor base. That's attributed to multiple reasons. For those of us that understand the history, there is a lot of underlying mistrust of the healthcare system. And quite frankly, there's already challenges with how busy people are, how accessible they are to even know where to go to donate blood. And let's face it, a lot of folks are scared of needles, right? But when they get through all of that, the importance, I think, is a heavier burden on our black and brown communities, because there are a lot of different blood diseases that require what I'll call more of a match in blood that only comes from people of similar ethnicities. Something that's specific to our black donors and patients is something that I think your listeners are very familiar with: sickle cell disease. The only therapy that get them through their day-to-day life is blood transfusions. And it's not just a what I'll call average or normal blood type or blood transfusion. It's actually a specific blood with a specific type called RO blood. And this RO blood typically only comes from people of African descent and Hispanic descent. And so that's why it's so important that our donor base is diverse, so that it helps our ethnically diverse patient population.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snime. The Milwaukee Brewers' 3-game win streak came to a screeching halt with the 8-4 loss against the Baltimore Orioles. The crew will pick things back up this evening to begin a 4-game series out in Pittsburgh. First pitch tonight is set for 5:40. Over to the NBA, where the Pacers do the improbable, make a late comeback to knock off the Knicks in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 138-135 in overtime. Tyrese Halliburton hitting a buzzer-beating game-tying shot in regulation as the Pacers take the 1-0 series lead. Over to the NFL, where team owners have voted to keep the tush-push in as a legal play for the 2025 season. The vote came to 22 versus 10 and needed 24 to ban the play. And lastly, we'll stick with the NFL. Sad news out of Indianapolis as longtime Colts owner and CEO Jim Irsay has died at the age of 65. The Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Shout out Migo, shout out Zay told me one time. Yeah. Versace, Medusa head on me like I'm Numinati. This is a gated community. Please get the fuck up the property.
Truth Nation, always remember one call, that's all.
No one on top of me.
If you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, don't mess around with going back and forth with the insurance company. If somebody hits your car and they say, hey, let's work a deal, let's not call the police, let's work a deal offline, don't do that. Contact Gruber Law Offices, because they will stand up for you and they will fight for you. And what I love about Gruber Law Offices, when you make that one call, that's all, they stand up for you, and you never worry about paying a single penny until they win your case. Yes, you never pay a single penny until they win your case. So get with the winning law firm that has been helping the city of Milwaukee for over 30 years by calling 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666, or visit Gruber-Law.com. That's Gruber-Law.com. And always remember, it's one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. I'm your host, Kyle Wallace, and we're having a conversation talking about how the Justice Department ends police reform agreements and halts investigations into many major cities across this country for the use of excessive force and discriminatory practices in their policing. This police reform we were trying to get, holding police departments accountable, no longer is a emphasis or important to this new administration. What message does that send to Black America, the Black Americans who are significantly over policed? Again, we make up 13% of the population, but we make up 25% of the people who are shot by police and 37% of the of the prison population. 833-212-1017 is the Truth Talk to text line. You can always watch the stream us live on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. But somebody who always loves to call in, what up, Winky Blue in Milwaukee? What are your comments today
Hey,
on
good
police
afternoon to you,
reform?
brother. Brother, you know, when I'm in my truck, I listen to you, but I want you to understand something. When you talk about we're the most police, we're the most shot by police. Now you got some facts in me, but the reason why we're over police is from the '88 Congress. It's called the HIDA Act, okay? The '88 Congress was all Democrat Congress. Matter of fact, Joe Biden was on the Senate floor working this thing. This is before the actual crime bill was passed. This was right after the Crime Act of 1985. This HIDA Act is the high-intense drug areas, and every major city got it. Every major inner city is highly policed, highly, we're saturated with it. All right? It's
So how do we reform that, Winky? So how do we reform that, right?
Huh?
So how do we reform that? How do we change
Donald Trump in his first term, right after the George Floyd, and you got to remember something. When George Floyd was murdered, this was a big thing, man. And a lot of rebelliousness took place. You know, you probably participated in a couple of protests. I participated in a couple of protests. And things went haywire. And we haven't been able to get it back. We can't go to a 24-hour Walmart no more. Walgreens are falling apart, man, because folks still walking in taking stuff like we're in riot mode. Like we're in unrest mode.
So, all right, Winky, I love you, but so police reform.
You're going to have a conversation and you're going to say something to me off.
No, I'm just saying, like, let's talk about police reform. You're talking about what's happening at Walmart.
I'm going to tell you about police reform. Right, after the George Floyd thing, Donald Trump addressed it, and he did a police reform bill. Okay, he approached the Urban League. He addressed 9 of the 10 things that the Urban League had put out. And if you go back and look at Donald Trump's police reform bill, you'll see it, brother. And the thing is that Democrats ain't going to tell you about it. And that's it. You know, they're not going to tell you about it. Just go look at what Donald Trump, the police reform bill. Now, they want to back to the police officers because right now, and look at, man, the police are bad in a lot of situations. But if me and you get in a tight band, we got to call them people, man. You know?
No, I'm not saying police are bad. But I'm listening. But I guess for me is that real quick, Rinky, real quick. I do have so when you see stuff like this, is it disheartening to you when you see that the police were being investigated in Minneapolis, Louisville, and other cities around this country?
Well, you have to look at how liberal they is, brother. You have to look. See, God allowed George Floyd to not be killed.
I love Winky, but he was tap dancing around. I just wanted to answer about how it made him disappointed. So I appreciate you, Winky, for calling in. 833-212-1017. Israel, Milwaukee. What are your thoughts here on police reform?
All right, you got your thinking cap on, Kyle. Now, mind you, this is coming from a guy who got shot by the police officer who knocked off his camera, escalated the situation, and shot an unarmed man in his home when backup got there, okay? Mind you, this is coming from this guy, okay? So, hypothetically speaking, right, if Chauvin got pardoned, right, and he got released from both federal and state prison, right, and he got to be a police officer again, after what he did and what he knows now, you think he'd be a better man or a worse man?
Who are you talking about? Trump?
No, Chauvin. I said that. Chauvin.
Oh, would he be a better man? I don't know. Sitting in prison, some people become better people and some people don't.
And after what he did and what that did to this country that he loves and around the world.
No, actually, I don't think he become a better man because he's still acting like he's innocent. So no. If he really believed that he should sit in jail for what he did, then he would say, I don't need the government to try to pardon me. I'm just going to do my 25 years. I don't need all this hoopla around me. So no, he has no remorse for what he did.
Even if he got a second chance, would he go out and try to make the world a better place for him or for everybody else being a police officer with this idea to serve and protect?
Probably for himself, to be honest. I think a lot of your decisions that you make, right, when you do something wrong and taking that accountability and saying, you know what, I messed up, and obviously I may have felt in the moment I was doing right, but after some reflection, some self-reflection, I can say that I made a poor decision. I took my case to trial, and the jury found me guilty, but he's still fighting it. So no, I think Derek Chauvin is an awful human being personally, and I think there's been no reflection whatsoever. I think he will get out and act like he never did anything. So no.
So going on with this current administration right now, people have been like bullying, using laws to intimidate, and then turn back and bit everybody in the nose. So how safe are we right now? There's a protest going on at Derco Aerospace, a place that manufactures weapons that's causing a genocide, an actual genocide.
Okay, thank you, Israel. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Nobody's really told me much about police reform, so I'm going to hope Miss Sandra, the last caller, can tell me about police reform. From Miss Sandra in Milwaukee, please say you have comments on police reform.
Hi, Kyle. You know what? I think it's going to get even harder. Only thing I know, we're going to have to take our babies and put them in the house to keep them away from the police. But now, like in Texas, they're passing laws where you can't videotape no more. And they already got to stand the ground and all of that, and then they're going to make it a felony if you videotape the police. And so they say, from what I understand, if you got felonies, you can't vote. And I've seen like little documentaries where the police tell, like a black dude at that, no, I'm going to help you get a felony, so you can't be able to vote. So I just think we got to get our baby and put them in the house. I know Chicago's doing curfews and stuff like that, because we're not going to be protecting them for Winky Blue. Trump is the biggest criminal going down. Him and his lackeys, all of them, Steve Bannon, Steve Miller, the lawyers that put all this DEI stuff out, they took women up there to challenge diversity stuff. And they took, like, I think a little foreign girl. She looked like Italian to me. They set it all up. They take these women up there, and then all of a sudden they can't get into college because, they got to meet, this quota to try to hire them and all that, what. But this is stuff they're doing. You got to start reading all this stuff. They are doing so much, and what I think they want is a dictatorship. They're gonna have us so tight, and the cameras all over on us. You'll never get out of this.
I hear you. I'm just going to say this now. Winky Blue, Israel, Miss Sandra, I appreciate y'all calling in. I do. I really do. But I do want to get back to police reform and criminal justice reform, because I think at some point we need to have a conversation about what does criminal justice reform look like now? Because when you actively have the United States government working against criminal justice reform, and Winky Blue was absolutely right, especially with the First Step Act, I believe it was, that the Trump administration tried to enact, and I believe that might have been something that Kim Kardashian was helping with. But we can't sit here and say, oh, well, you did this, right? But then ignore the fact that these actions that were just taking place, where these police departments are now not being held accountable, and we cannot act like there's going to be negative ramifications in these cities that disproportionately will impact black people. That's what I'm talking about. That's the thing that pains me as somebody who myself has been harassed by the police on multiple occasions. Somebody who was profiled by the police before, right? And again, I'm not saying the police are bad. I am one that believes in police. I'm not saying that. But what I believe is that in environment that you are in, any industry you are working in, anything that you are doing, you should be trying to get better. If you have a bad person on your team, you should want to get rid of that bad person. You should not want to cover up that person's flaws. You should want to say, you have flaws that cause for our job to be more stressful. It cause for people not to have trust. And because of that, we need to get rid of all the bad apples and all the bad seeds. What you are seeing here from the Trump administration is that they are allowing for bad apples and bad seeds to continue to grow within the police departments, which does not build any confidence in the community to trust in the police departments. 95%, well, I shouldn't say that because I don't know the exact number, but I'm going to say this. The majority of police officers across this country are doing what is right for the community. I believe there is a small percent of individuals who are not doing what's right. And those small percent should be fired and made an example of. 100%. There is no second chance when it comes to policing. If you do something that's discriminatory, you should be fired. If you do something that is excessive force, you should be fired. If you tamper with evidence or do something that makes somebody look bad, you should be fired. There is no second chances when it comes to the livelihood of others because that's what the police have in their hands. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and Text line. On the other side, Truth Nation, I want to talk about this big, beautiful bill. I know I'm going to break a little bit early, but there's this big, beautiful bill that the Trump administration has passed. There's some good things. There's some bad things. But on the other side, I'm going to talk about the big, beautiful bill. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walls right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
So Black women's leadership needs to be prioritized. That means a whole lot of things, but it includes a message for white women, which would be, it'll be wise for you to take our lead. We've already demonstrated everything there is to the world about who we are. We shouldn't have to keep doing that over and over again. The reality is that there are times when we got to muster up the energy to do some things we don't want to do, but I don't want that to be commonplace for me, and I certainly don't want it to be commonplace for other Black women. There's often this message that we need to stay strong because there are people depending on it. No, we need ourselves.
Yeah, you can't, what do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup?
Yes. And I even am hearing people say a lot more, you shouldn't pour from your cup at all until it overflows. And it's the overflow that you give. You keep the full cup for yourself.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Need to look sharp for graduation? You need
the $100 hookup.
Want to get decked out for prom? Get the
$100 hookup.
An incredible deal that includes a marvelous suit, shirt, tie, shoes, all for $100. Only at Nick Avani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Avani's. Get hooked up today at Nick Avani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickavanis.com.
Tired of hearing no from other banks? No to a loan? No to a checking account? Just no? At Brewery Credit Union, they find ways to say yes. Yes to second chances. Yes to rebuilding credit. Yes to helping you save, borrow, and thrive. Work with your credit specialist and move your financial life forward. Brewery Credit Union, Milwaukee's best place to borrow and save. Visit brewerycu.com. That is brewerycu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
My name is Adrienne, and I was hurt in a car accident. What Gruber Law Office has done for me was made me feel safe. It didn't cost me anything, just one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Walsh, your host of Truth to Power. And we talked about police reform on the other side and really needing that. But also, before I go, because y'all know I'm going until Tuesday because we're off on Monday because it is Memorial Day, I wanted to talk about this big, beautiful tax bill that was just passed in the House of Representatives. Now, you have seen in the news about this budget bill that was just passed. Now, this bill is in the current state where it will change significantly. You got to go to the Senate, and it will change. But I feel like I have a duty as a host to give some details, regardless of how boring sometimes this can be. It's my job to make sure I make things as informative and as entertaining. I know numbers and budgets can be boring, but let me tell y'all why this is not boring information. This is information we should know because there are some good things in this bill for middle-class Americans like myself, but there are also some awful and evil things for elderly and low-income people. And I myself am not selfish whatsoever. I believe in giving back for the greater whole because I believe if we can uplift everybody, then we have a better America, right? But what you see in this bill, right, you see in this bill is that you know Robin Hood, where you steal from the rich, give to the poor. This is stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. That is what they are doing. They are stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. And the thing that I hate about this bill the most is the fact for years you heard Republicans complain about the deficit, right? We're going to be broke. We're going to push all this debt down to our children. We got to clean this up. We can't continue adding more debt and more debt. Right? And that's what they were saying is when Joe Biden was trying to pass his $3.5 trillion budget bill, which would have added to the deficit. But that bill focused on bolstering family services, health care, environmental sustainability programs, investing in jobs and infrastructure, things that I feel like we as all Americans can get behind and support. Those are things that people need. But Republicans said, no, we can't add to the debt. That $3.5 trillion is going to add to our debt ceiling? Absolutely not. We can't do that. We got to find ways to slash and cut and save money. We can't continue to kick the can down the road. If you listen to anything political or you listen to politicians talk like Ron Johnson, they'll talk about this deficit, which I agree. We have to balance our budget. But if we're going to decide to make sacrifices to add to the deficit, I wholeheartedly believe looking at health care for people, family services for people, environmental sustainability, investing in more jobs and careers and investing in infrastructure, I believe that is worth adding to the deficit. Now, on the flip side, now that Republicans are in power and control, guess what? This big, beautiful bill adds $3.8 trillion to the deficit. $3.8 trillion in more debt for America. They don't care about the kids no more. They ain't worried about kicking the can down the road. They worried about railroading this bill because this bill cuts $267 billion in SNAP benefits, which helps provide access to food for people with disabilities and people over the age of 60. By the way, their assets for those people have to be less than $4,500 per person. Your assets in order to get those SNAP benefits. They cut that by $267 billion. Yeah, that's a smart idea. Let's cut 42 million people's access to SNAP benefits, the most needy people in this country who are just trying to put food on their table and survive for their families. It also cuts $700 million from Medicaid, which will cause close to 8 million Americans to lose their health insurance at the start and could rise to 15 million people impacted. Y'all see RFK gallivanting around talking about health, talking all that, talking about living healthier. But the government that he is with is cutting $700 million in Medicaid, cutting SNAP benefits. You can't live a healthier life if you don't have access to health care. And lastly, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said that household resources for the poorest people in America would decrease by 4% over the next 8 years with this bill, while the richest people's household resources will increase by 4%. The poorest people in America are losing by 4%, while the richest people in America are gaining by 4%. This big, beautiful bill is big, beautiful trash. This has been Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am always your host of Truth to Power. Shout out to Rhea for holding it down for us. The Tory Memorial show is up next. Peace out. I will see y'all next week. Had a beautiful and safe Memorial Day, Truth Nation. Thank y'all. Peace out.